This is a creeping menace from a mounting wave of no deposit, no return, throw away everything way of life. This is garbage. Cleverly engineered packaging is burying us. It's a messy mess. We just want someone, somehow, to take this waste away. Millions of tons per day is difficult to sweep under the nation's rug. No one wants to come to grips with it. We've created a perpetual waterfall of refuse that we must face up to. The area of our immediate concern is King County and the city of Seattle in the state of Washington. King County uses the landfill method, which is highly regarded as the best in dollar-for-dollar results. Hayes Evans is the Director of Sanitary Operations for King County. Mr. Evans, a man of comprehensive experience in all phases of public health work and a registered sanitarian, faced a combination of problems: a phenomenal growth, the analysis of population shifts, and changes resulting from freeway construction dictated a complete overhaul of the King County disposal system. It was decided that the transfer stations were to be of contemporary design, with easy access approaches and exits, and retaining the basic slot system for compatible commercial and private use. The operating personnel held to a vigilant, let's keep it as attractive as possible program. Now, we won't say that refuse dumping can be fun, and to be seen at the transfer station doesn't imply any particular social significance, but it did have a magical effect in the realm of public acceptance. So, with the sport model transfer stations in operation, the next step was a review and subsequent upgrading of the large trailers that do the bulk hauling to the Cedar Hills landfill. An early model had a chain drive system for emptying the load. It had a tendency to litter the highway, and the chain mechanism would jam, which usually meant unloading by hand. The chain drive gave way to the side dumper. The side dumper was a spectacular performer, but its complex hydraulic system developed malfunctions and required a great deal of maintenance. It also left considerable refuse in the path of its wheels. Glass and tires in such close contact was not conducive to good mileage. But it was a spectacular performer. Another system called for cables attached to a net, and the refuse load then pulled out by a bulldozer. The real irritant was that the hauler always seemed to retain leftovers. Timon Fixie, on the staff of Johnston, Campanella, and Murakami, turned his talents to the design of a trailer rig that would have none of these problems and empty completely every time. They were completely leak-proof, being lighter in weight due to high-strength steel, and special corrugated side, bottom, and end panels gave them greater overall hauling capacity. Elimination of any hydraulic mechanisms and gear drives practically eliminated maintenance problems. They held up very well under normal abuse and withstood the continual compacting pressures. They were free of moving parts, with the exception of the easily maintained covers that kept debris from littering the freeways. Cedar Hills is 13 miles south of Seattle city limits. This is the major disposal site for the 7 King County transfer stations. easy access roads that are clear of any tire hazards. It is readily accessible, self-contained, and has no drainage or pollution problems. Cedar Hills represents over 900 acres of active landfill that has met all requirements. The sanitary landfill is regarded by the United States Bureau of Solid Waste Management as the only acceptable land disposal method. After bulldozers have spread the refuse and the compactor has it well mashed down, the earth mover puts on the final touch. The refuse is covered with a layer of clean earth. No flies, no rodents. Good enough? No, there was room for improvement. The engineers next tackled the idea of compressing garbage underground in one continuous move. For this development, King County received the 9th grant in the nation, provided by the United States Public Health Service, National Center for Urban Industrial Health. The grant for this specific purpose became known as the High Density Landfill Recovery Program. Timon Fixie designed the machine that was ultimately called the mole. Refuse is dumped directly into a hopper that accepts 100 cubic yards at a time. The hydraulically actuated piston exerts 200 pounds per square inch of pressure over its 7 by 7 foot face. This compresses the refuse under 1.5 million pounds of thrust, which extrudes it out the rear of the machine 15 feet underground. No one ever sees it again. This machine is completely compatible with existing equipment. The same system for unloading the trailer prevails. Then the similarity stops. Refuse is not dumped on the ground to be spread about. The mole moves forward on the freewheeling tracks each time the piston goes into its compression stroke. In one simple move, it is compressed underground to 1/10 of its original volume. An exposed vein of refuse proved to be as solid as the soil itself. To be able to neatly dispose of refuse, while at the same time creating usable land, we feel is the only sensible method to really put waste away.